Hi guys, Ronnie here. Thanks for stopping by. So if you saw my last couple of videos, you know I did build a new design of my entryway bench and I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. So part one was the actual build. I gave you the dimensions, show you how it's built. Part two was the Facebook ad, the pictures I took, how I placed the ad, and the results. So if you've watched those, then you know the results. If you haven't, go watch them. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. The bench sold in 2 days. So the lady that bought the bench actually ordered a second one. She wanted a shorter one. That's what I'm showing you here. I'm at the process now. I'm getting ready to stain all the parts, put it together. She wanted the same color combination, so I'm going to stain and put it together. But before I did that, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you how to achieve the new feature that I did with this bench, one of the new features, and that was the slatted top. So the slatted top, I have all laid out here. There's a couple of different ways you can go about figuring this out. Let me show you how I did it. So I take the full length of the bench. It's going to be 44 inches from this edge of this slat to that edge of the other slat. Each slat hangs over approximately 1/4 inch from the end of the board. So I got 44 inches to work with. Well, I figured out through different calculations, I like to have around 1/4 inch or so, give or take, for gaps. So doing the math on this one, I figured 4 1/16 inch with slats, 8 of them, takes up 32.5 inches. So that gives me 1.5 inches left over to divide 7 gaps into. And that came out to 7 32nds of an inch gaps, which is close enough to what I like. So I ripped me down 7 32nds width spacer board, and these aren't attached, they're just laid out, but I laid out the boards, put the spacer board in, so laid everything out to make sure I'm gonna like the look of that, and I do. So it's really simple. I mean, if you want to focus on, you definitely want a certain gap, then you go with that. You just got to figure out, like I said, the total length, subtract how wide all the slats are going to be when put together, and that gives you the remaining space to divide the spaces into, the gaps space into. Now, and so always on the top like this, you're going to have one fewer gap than you have number of slats. You see the gaps are starting here. Now, for up until this time, I had been, like I said, putting the slats on the bottom shelf. And so, for instance, I have these end aprons here, right? Well, let's say I figure out and I start putting my slats in. Well, with the end apron, you're going to have a slat here, a gap there and a gap there. So for the shelves, you have to add a number to the number of slats you have. You have to add 1, and that'll give you the gap amount. So if you had, let's say you had 10 slats, that'd actually be 11 gaps. You have to add 1 more. Seems difficult maybe at first, complicated, but it really isn't. What gets complicated is just trying to visualize what you like. See, I could have taken off one of these slats and then spread the rest out, but that would have been too wide of gap. I could make the slats narrower. I figured out 3 5/8 inch slat. If I went with an extra slat, 9 slats, that would make about the same gap. But it'd be a narrower slat, and I kind of like this one better. The original slats on that longer bench, the first one I sold, was 4 11/16 inch width. So I figured knocking it down to 4 1/16. It's a little narrower because the bench is 10 inches shorter. I don't know. I figured that's how I'd work it out. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I got to get to staining this and get it together. Thanks for watching.